Have you ever stopped to think about why some people seem to face the worst storms in life with an almost supernatural calm, while others crumble at the slightest setback? What makes life feel like an uncontrollable chaos for some and a complex but manageable dance for others? Now imagine this. What if you could be that person who faces problems head-on, with serenity, clarity, and strength? What if there were a set of principles, tested and proven over more than 2,000 years, capable of transforming your relationship with life and the challenges it throws your way? I know it almost sounds like magic, but the truth is this philosophy exists. It was shaped by the sages of ancient Greece and Rome. It has withstood the test of time, and today it's more relevant than ever in our chaotic and unpredictable world. I'm talking about Stoicism, a philosophy that not only survives through the ages, but becomes increasingly essential in the kind of world we live in today. Think about your daily life. How many times do you catch yourself complaining about traffic, your boss, or the small frustrations that seem to ruin your peace? How often do you lose your patience over something that in the end wasn't even under your control? Now imagine transforming these situations into nothing more than minor details, things that hold no power over your mind or your heart. Picture living a life filled with purpose, focus, and inner peace, even when the world around you is in flames. Today, I'm going to share with you 12 Stoic principles that will change the way you see life and how you respond to challenges. Principles that will train your mind to become unshakable. This isn't empty theory. These are strategies you can start applying today, and I promise you, if you absorb each of these ideas and put them into practice, your life will be transformed. But a word of caution, this video isn't for those looking for quick or magical fixes. It's for those who are willing to invest in their own growth day after day to become someone who can face any adversity with their head held high and their heart at peace. So if you've ever felt like the little things in life hold too much power over you, if you want to learn how to live with more lightness, but also with more strength, stay with me until the end. Together, we'll dive into the teachings of Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and discover how nothing can shake you. Now let's begin with the first principle, the one that will teach you how to build an inner strength more powerful than any external storm. Principle 1. Have a firm purpose as a beacon in the storm. Have you ever stopped to think how unpredictable life can be? Suddenly, your dream job vanishes, a relationship ends, or unexpected news turns your world upside down. In moments like these, many people feel like dry leaves blown by the wind, directionless at the mercy of circumstances. But Stoic philosophy offers a powerful answer to this chaos: the importance of having a firm purpose. Imagine you're a sailor in the middle of the ocean. The sky darkens, the wind picks up, and the waves begin to rock your boat. If you don't have a lighthouse, a guiding star, a fixed point on the horizon, you'll get lost. You'll drift aimlessly at the mercy of circumstances. But if you have a purpose, something you've consciously chosen as your guiding light, then even in the middle of the storm, you can stay on course. You know where you're headed, and every challenge becomes just another step on the journey. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "Difficulties show a person's character. The greater the obstacle, the greater the glory in overcoming it." What he meant is simple. Without a firm purpose, any obstacle becomes an unbearable burden. But with a clear purpose, those same obstacles turn into stepping stones toward growth and fulfillment. Now take a deep breath and think, what is your purpose? I'm not talking about superficial goals like earning more money or gaining more followers. I'm talking about that deep purpose that resonates with who you truly are, the one that gets you out of bed, even on the toughest days, the one that gives you strength to keep going, even when the world seems to collapse. Have you found that purpose yet? If not, that's okay. This video will help you find it. Because here's the truth. Purpose doesn't fall from the sky. It's built through reflection, self-awareness, and the courage to ask yourself, what do I truly value? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic giant, wrote in his Meditations, "Stop arguing about what a good man should be one." This simple yet powerful statement shows us that it's not enough to merely think or dream about purpose. We need to live it, in every action, every choice, every word. Now imagine how your life would be if you had that internal beacon clearly defined. Picture waking up every day knowing that no matter what happens, the traffic jam, the cranky boss, the ungrateful friend, You have a purpose guiding each step. Not only does this give you strength, but it also takes the weight off the small irritations of daily life. So how do you build that purpose? Is in simplicity. Set aside a moment just for yourself. No distractions, no phone, no noise. Take out paper and pen and write down your answers to these questions. What do I value most in life? What qualities do I admire in others? What would I like people to say about me 50 years from now? What unique contribution can I offer the world? These answers will form the foundation of your purpose. And it doesn't need to be perfect. The important thing is to start. Because a purpose, just like a muscle, strengthens with daily use. Let's bring this into everyday life. Imagine you wake up knowing the day will be full of challenges, tight deadlines, unexpected demands, bad news. Instead of letting anxiety take over, you take a deep breath and remind yourself, I have a purpose, and this purpose gives me the strength to handle whatever comes my way. With each difficulty, you ask yourself, is this situation pulling me away from or bringing me closer to my purpose? This simple reflection puts you back in control of your mind and actions. No matter how strong the waves are, you have your beacon. And there's more. Purpose also acts as a filter for your daily choices. If something doesn't contribute to what you want to build, to who you want to become, then you simply say no. No guilt, no fear. This gives you clarity and mental lightness. Remember what Epictetus said, external things are not under our control. What we can control is our reaction to them. A firm purpose gives you exactly that. The ability to choose your responses with intention without getting swept up by the external storm. And before you think, but life is full of unexpected events, I'll never have complete control, let me share a secret with you. Stoicism doesn't seek total control. It seeks internal mastery. It teaches us that true power lies in how we react, how we interpret the world, not in what the world does to us. So here's the first practical exercise from this video. Grab a notebook and write down your purpose, even if it's just a rough draft. Place it somewhere visible, on your phone's lock screen, your bathroom mirror, your computer wallpaper. Every time you feel overwhelmed, read your purpose and ask yourself, does this thing bothering me right now really matter to my purpose? If not, why am I giving it so much energy? This simple habit will start to shift your perspective. It will help you build a calmer, more focused, and more resilient mind. Now tell me, are you ready to discover the next 11 principles that will make you unshakable? Let's keep going, because this is just the beginning. The next principle will show you how to protect your mind from distractions and negative influences trying to knock you off course. Principle 2. Protect your mind like a sacred temple. Think for a moment. How many times throughout your day is your mind invaded by distractions, phone notifications, alarming news, unsolicited opinions, destructive criticism? It's as if we're surrounded by a sea of external voices pulling us in every direction. But what if I told you that the key to a life of unshakable peace and strength lies in learning to protect your mind from these influences? Epictetus, the great Stoic master, reminds us, it's not things that upset us, but rather our opinion of them. In other words, the problem isn't what happens out there, it's how we let it into our mind and disrupt our balance. Picture your mind as a sacred temple, a place where only you hold the keys. Would you let just anyone enter and leave garbage? And noise everywhere? Of course not, but that's exactly what happens when we don't control what we allow into our mind. Think of that unfair criticism at work, the opinion of someone who doesn't know your life but loves to judge, the sensationalist news designed only to stir fear and anxiety. All of these are like intruders trying to invade your temple. And Stoic philosophy teaches us to shut the doors and choose wisely what we allow inside. Want a practical example? Imagine you're in traffic and someone cuts you off recklessly. Your first impulse might be to curse, honk, or feel angry. But in that moment, pause and ask yourself, am I really going to let this stranger who doesn't even know me have the power to ruin my mood and my peace? Does this situation truly deserve that much space in my mind? That conscious pause is the beginning of Stoic practice. It's the moment when you decide not to let something outside your control dictate your state of mind. It's when you protect your mind as a sacred and valuable space. So how do you do this in everyday life? Here are a few simple yet powerful practices. Filter what you consume. Choose carefully what you read, listen to, and watch. Feed your mind with content that inspires, uplifts, and strengthens you. Avoid excessive consumption of negative news or toxic conversations. Set clear boundaries. Don't let people or situations drain your energy. Say no when necessary. Create moments during the day for silence, for being with yourself, away from the noise of the world. Practice mindfulness. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, take a deep breath and bring your attention to the present moment. Observe your thoughts without judgment and consciously choose whether it's worth investing energy in them. Marcus Aurelius also reminds us, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. If you want a fuller, more serene life, start cultivating higher, calmer, and more constructive thoughts. Here's a practical exercise you can try today. Choose a moment in your day to practice a noise fast. Turn off your phone, avoid social media, and find a quiet space to reflect on your thoughts and emotions. Ask yourself, what am I allowing into my mind? Is it contributing to my peace or diverting me from my purpose? Over time, this simple practice will strengthen your mind into a fortress. You'll become less reactive, more centered, and less vulnerable to external influences. Now tell me, are you ready to discover the next principle, which will teach you how to handle criticism and offenses without losing your calm? Let's continue together. Principle 3 will show you how to become immune to criticism. Principle 3. Turn criticism into fuel for growth. Have you noticed how easy it is to let criticism get under your skin? Someone makes a snide comment or a hurtful observation, and suddenly your peace of mind is gone. We stew over the words, replay the tone of voice, rehearse the comebacks we wish we'd made. But what if I told you that Stoic philosophy offers a way for criticism to stop being a threat and start becoming a springboard for your growth? Epictetus wisely reminds us, it's not the words themselves that offend us, but how we choose to react to them. This means that no one has the power to hurt you without your permission. Criticism is like an arrow. If you let it pierce you, it wounds. But if you see it as a test of patience and self-knowledge, it becomes a valuable exercise. Let's think about a common scenario. Someone close to you, maybe a friend or co-worker, makes a harsh comment about something you did. The automatic reaction might be to get defensive, to justify yourself, or even to lash back. But what if instead you took a deep breath and asked yourself, is this criticism valid? Does it reveal something I could improve? Or is it just a fleeting opinion with no real weight? That pause for reflection is what the Stoics would call practical wisdom. Instead of reacting impulsively, you choose to act with purpose. If the criticism is constructive, you embrace it as a disguised gift. If it's not, you discard it like trash, without letting it weigh you down. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are offended, remember, it is not the offense itself that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." This teaching gives us a superpower, the ability to choose how we interpret others' words and actions. After all, you can't control what others think or say, but you can decide what to do with that information. Let's make this practical. Imagine someone critiques your work, saying, "This project is terrible, you don't know what you're doing." Take a deep breath. Instead of slipping into automatic defense mode, separate the message from the messenger. Ask yourself, what exactly is this person saying? Is there any objective truth in what's being said? If this criticism came from someone I respect, how would I react? This simple exercise transforms criticism into learning. You move from being a victim of the situation to an active agent of your growth. And most importantly, you maintain your inner peace. Now, let's talk about another powerful insight. Criticism often says more about the person delivering it than about the one receiving it. How many times have you noticed that a critical person is actually projecting their own insecurities, frustrations, or fears? Understanding this helps lighten the weight of their words. When you become immune to unfair criticism, you're free. It's like building a mental armor, a stoic shield that prevents random comments from dictating your mood or your sense of worth. But a word of caution, this doesn't mean becoming arrogant or indifferent. It means having the discernment to embrace what is useful and discard what isn't. It means keeping the door open for growth and closed to destructive noise. Here's a practical exercise to strengthen this skill. Every time you receive criticism, write it down in a notebook. Note exactly what was said, who said it, and in what context. Then, write down your initial emotional response and finally, calmly analyze, is this criticism true, partially true, or completely irrelevant? Over time, this exercise will reveal patterns. It will help you notice whether you're overreacting to unimportant comments or whether there are real areas for improvement. And here's more. Remember Epictetus's example. He was born a slave, yet he became one of the greatest philosophers in history. Do you think he let harsh words break him? No, he used every challenge as fuel for growth. He chose not to be a prisoner of others' words, but the protagonist of his own life. And you? Are you ready to take control? Are you ready to turn criticism into learning, to shield yourself against empty words, and to build a life guided by your own inner compass? In the next principle, we'll explore how to overcome fear and shame, those emotions that often paralyze us and prevent us from acting. Get ready, because this next part will strike deep. Principle 4. Face fear and shame with courage. How many times have you held back from doing something important because you were afraid of what others might think? How many opportunities have you missed because shame froze you in place? The good news is that Stoicism offers us powerful tools to face these emotions and transform them into allies for our growth. Epictetus said something truly transformative. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. Fear and shame are just internal reactions. They're not invincible monsters. They have no real power unless you decide to surrender to them. Let's imagine a situation. You have to speak in public. Just the thought of it makes your heart race. Your mind filled with thoughts of failure and fear take over. What would Stoicism say? First, identify that this fear is tied to a concern about others' opinions, something outside of your control. Then reflect. What's the worst-case scenario? I might forget what I was going to say, I might stumble over my words, and even if that happens, would the world end? Would your life fall apart because of a small misstep? Of course not. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Shame and fear are often the products of a fertile imagination that creates monsters much bigger than they really are. When you face these emotions with clarity, they shrink. Now, take a deep breath and think, how many times have you felt trapped by fear of judgment? How many opportunities have you let slip because you thought you weren't good enough? And what if from now on you chose a new path? Stoicism invites us to look at these emotions and ask, where is this fear coming from? Is it protecting me or limiting me? Does this shame reflect a real mistake? Or is it just a reflection of external expectations? What can I learn by facing this fear head-on? These questions bring clarity and give us back control. Because the truth is, fear is a sign that we're stepping out of our comfort zone, and that's exactly where growth happens. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Fear and shame might show up, but they don't need to dictate your actions. You can feel fear and still act. You can recognize shame and still stand your ground. Here's a powerful and practical exercise. Choose a situation you've been avoiding out of fear or shame. It might be a tough conversation, a work presentation, or even a career change. Write down all the worst-case scenarios your mind can come up with. List everyone. Now for each scenario, write a practical response. What could you do if it happened? Who could support you? What lesson could you take from it? Finally, write down the best-case scenario. What could go right? How could your life improve by facing this fear? This simple exercise transforms fear and shame into growth opportunities. It gives you a roadmap to act, even when your heart is racing and your mind hesitates. And remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. Every time you choose to face what scares you, you strengthen your mind, expand your horizons, and move closer to your best self. In the next principle, we'll discover how to live in the present with more attention and less anxiety. A powerful antidote to stress and dissatisfaction. Ready to dive into the present? Let's go. Principle 5. Live in the present with attention and presence. Have you ever noticed how our minds love to wander into the future or the past? An unpleasant memory from yesterday, a worry about tomorrow, and there we are, trapped in thoughts that steal the peace of the present moment. Stoicism invites us to do the exact opposite, live in the moment with total attention and presence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. The present moment is all we have. It sounds simple, but in practice, how often are we truly present? How many times is your mind on autopilot while your body goes through the motions of the day? The Stoics teach us that life happens here and now. The future is uncertain, the past is gone, and the only moment we can truly control is the present. When we focus on the now, we act with more wisdom, more calm, and more purpose. Imagine a musician playing an instrument. If they focus too much on the next note, they might miss the one they're playing now. If they dwell on a mistake in the last note, they might lose the rhythm of the music. But if they surrender to the present moment, each note flows naturally and perfectly. Life is the same way. Full presence brings balance. To incorporate this practice, Stoicism suggests a simple but profound exercise: mindful attention. When you're eating, eat with attention. When you're in a conversation, truly listen. When you're walking, feel the contact of your feet on the ground. Observe your surroundings. Presence transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Living in the present also reduces anxiety and stress. How many times have you lost sleep worrying about something that didn't even happen, or been consumed by regrets that can't be changed? Focusing on the now frees us from these unnecessary burdens. Here's a practical exercise for today. Choose a routine activity. It could be brushing your teeth, making a cup of coffee, or walking to work. During this activity, be 100% present. Observe every detail without letting yourself be carried away by thoughts. At the end, notice how your mind feels lighter, calmer, more centered. And remember Seneca's words: true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. When you learn to live in the moment with presence, you discover a new kind of freedom, one that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on your choice to be fully present in the now. In the next principle, we'll explore how self-discipline can be the key to inner freedom. Ready to take the next step? Principle 6. Cultivate self-discipline as the path to freedom. Many people see self-discipline as a prison, something that limits freedom and stifles spontaneity. But for the Stoics, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, self-discipline is precisely the path to true freedom. When you're able to govern yourself, to choose your actions based on reason and your values, and not on impulses or fleeting desires, you become free. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that for a moment. How many times have you caught yourself saying just 5 more minutes to the alarm clock, or just 1 more piece of cake, even knowing it's not what's best for you? These small concessions, over time, make us prisoners of our own habits. Self-discipline is the training of the will. It gives us the power to say yes to what truly matters and no to what pulls us away from our purpose. And contrary to what many think, it doesn't have to start with big changes. The key lies in small daily habits. Practical example: wake up at the time you've chosen, even if it's tough. Take small pauses throughout the day to reflect on whether your actions align with your values. Practice saying no to a temptation that doesn't serve you, whether it's a distraction, a food, or a behavior. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Each act of self-discipline strengthens the muscle of the will and brings us closer to the best version of ourselves. In the end, self-discipline isn't a punishment. It's a gift we give ourselves. It's the ability to build the life we want, with clarity, purpose, and inner peace. So are you ready to take control of your life? In the next principle, we'll explore emotional resilience and how to face challenges without losing your calm. Ready? Let's go. Principle 7. Develop emotional resilience to weather any storm. Life doesn't always follow the script. Moments of frustration, pain, and adversity are part of the journey. But what separates those who are easily shaken from those who maintain? Serenity is emotional resilience, the ability to face storms without losing balance. Epictetus reminds us, it's not the events that disturb us, but how we interpret them. This means that no matter how difficult a situation seems, the key lies in how we choose to react. This is where emotional resilience comes in, which doesn't mean suppressing emotions, but recognizing them and choosing a response aligned with our values. Picture someone facing a job rejection or an unexpected criticism. The impulse might be to give in to anger or sadness, but Stoicism teaches us to pause and reflect. Is this situation within my control? What can I learn from it? This simple shift in perspective turns suffering into opportunity. Resilience is also closely tied to patience and the practice of self-compassion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." When we understand that each challenge is part of life's natural flow, we can accept them with greater calm and less resistance. Practical exercise. When facing a difficult emotional situation, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what is truly within my control here? If necessary, write down your feelings and realize they are temporary. Then, decide what practical action you can take to resolve the situation or, if necessary, simply accept what cannot be changed. Emotional resilience doesn't appear overnight. It's a muscle that strengthens with practice, and every challenge faced with patience and wisdom is like a training session for this muscle, making you more prepared for the next one. Ready to learn how Principle 8 will help you turn every obstacle into a stepping stone for growth? Let's keep going. Principle 8. Turn obstacles into opportunities. In life, obstacles are inevitable. The difference lies in how we choose to face them. For the Stoics, every challenge is a chance for growth. Marcus Aurelius said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." This phrase reminds us that blocks are not barriers, but rather integral parts of the journey. Imagine you're working toward a goal and something unexpected happens, a financial setback, a change in plans, a rejection. The impulse might be to give up or get angry, but Stoicism invites a different perspective. What can I learn from this? How can I use this challenge to my advantage? Epictetus taught that we don't control what happens, but we can control how we react. When we see an obstacle not as a wall but as a step, we shift our mindset. What once seemed like a defeat turns into an opportunity to develop new skills, strengthen patience, and expand our vision. Practical exercise. When facing a challenge, make a list with 1. The current problem, 2. What is outside your control, 3. What you can control, and 4. What you can learn from the situation. Then turn this list into a plan of action. Even a small step forward brings clarity and strength. Remember, every obstacle is a chance to grow. The true Stoic sees a challenge as an invitation to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Now, let's move on to Principle 9, which will show you how the practice of gratitude can transform your perspective and bring you more joy. Ready? Let's keep going. Principle 9. Practice gratitude as a key to inner peace. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with messages saying we need more, Stoic philosophy invites us to focus on what we already have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise, in the morning think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude isn't just a pleasant emotion, it's a transformative practice. When we focus on what we have, instead of what we lack, we develop a sense of fullness and peace. This doesn't mean we should ignore our desires or ambitions, but we can appreciate them without becoming slaves to them. Seneca adds, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Gratitude anchors us in the present. It reminds us that no matter how challenging life is, there's always something to be thankful for. A friend, a lesson, a small act of kindness, or simply the gift of living another day. Practical exercise. Take a few minutes every day to list 3 things you're grateful for. It could be something simple like a good meal, a smile you received, or a moment of peace. During the day when you feel frustrated, pause and ask, "What can I be grateful for right now?" This simple act helps recenter your mind and shift your focus to the positive. Over time, gratitude stops being just an exercise and becomes a natural state. It gives you a fresh perspective on problems, turns frustrations into opportunities, and strengthens emotional resilience. Now let's move on to Principle 10, which will show you the power of detachment and acceptance for living a lighter and happier life. Shall we continue? Principle 10. Accept what cannot be changed. In life, there are things beyond our control, other people's behavior, unexpected changes, losses. Stoicism teaches us that accepting these realities is not about resignation, but about freeing ourselves from the inner struggle against what cannot be changed. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish. Wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." It may sound counterintuitive, right? But think about how much energy you've already spent trying to change something or someone that was simply beyond your reach. Acceptance creates space for peace. It doesn't mean you agree or approve, but it means you understand and redirect your focus to what you can truly control. Marcus Aurelius also reinforced this idea. Accept whatever happens to you, even if it seems difficult, because it is part of the greater plan of nature. Accepting what is helps us flow with life without drowning in the waves we can't avoid. Practical exercise. When something frustrates or disappoints you, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, practice acceptance. Say to yourself, I accept this, and move forward. Redirect your energy to what's within your reach, your attitude, your habits, and your self-care. This simple practice creates immense inner freedom. You stop wasting energy and become lighter, more centered, and more at peace. Principle 11. Live according to your values, not others' expectations. How many times have you shaped your choices and actions just to please others, to fit into imposed standards, or to avoid judgment? Stoicism reminds us that true freedom lies in living in alignment with your own values, regardless of others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius said, happiness depends on ourselves. Living authentically doesn't mean being insensitive or selfish. It means having clarity about what's important to you and acting in accordance with that. Epictetus taught that we don't have control over what others think or say, but we do have full control over our own actions. When we stop seeking external approval, we gain a lightness and confidence that no one can take away. Practical exercise. Reflect on what your core values are. What is truly important to you? Honesty, kindness, courage, freedom. Whenever you face a choice or a challenging situation, ask yourself, is this decision aligned with my values? Practice detachment from others' opinions. If someone criticizes your choice, take a deep breath and ask yourself, does this criticism reflect something true, or is it just a projection from them? Living authentically is an act of courage. It's taking control of your life and deciding that you are the only one responsible for your peace and happiness, and as a result, you inspire others to do the same. Now, let's move on to Principle 12, the final one, which will show us how the reminder of our own mortality can be a powerful source of motivation and gratitude. Let's go. Principle 12. Remember your mortality to live with greater purpose. This principle may seem dark at first, but in reality, it's liberating and inspiring. The Stoics called this practice memento mori, meaning, remember, you will die, not as a scary reminder, but as an invitation to reflect. If life is finite, how do you want to live it? Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. When we acknowledge the fragility and impermanence of life, we stop postponing what truly matters. We begin to value each moment, every relationship, every learning opportunity. How many times have you held back from expressing gratitude, love, or forgiveness because you thought there would be time later? Stoicism invites us to live fully today, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. It frees us from unnecessary attachments, from resentments, and helps us focus on what truly matters. Practical exercise. Every day upon waking, take a moment to reflect. If today were my last day, am I living in alignment with my values and purpose? Write down 3 things you would do differently if you knew your time was limited, and put one of them into practice. This practice is not about fear, but about urgency and presence. When you remember that life is short, you begin to choose better. The words you use, the people you spend time with, the actions you take. You start living with more truth and purpose. And so we come to the end of our journey through the 12 Stoic principles so that nothing can affect you. But remember, this is not the end. It's just the beginning of your daily practice. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue learning more about Stoicism and how to apply it to your real life, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. That way, you won't miss the next videos. And remember, living with intention, courage, and serenity is a choice you make every day. Shall we continue together?